is the students. The first one is the students' parents are being supportive when they are learning using virtual meeting application, with 50% of the students agreed to the statement. And then the next point is the students' friends are being supportive in the learning process using the virtual meeting application, with 58.7% of the students agree to the statement. So here we could see that the culture and the social organization of the student could affect the student to have positive perception for the virtual meeting application because they are being supportive. Okay. Sorry.
Can I help you, Miss?
Okay. Sorry for the pause. Okay, next for the next part of the questionnaire is about the implication of good online learning by Muhammad Ali. And here are the 2 points that we highlighted. The first one is the use of multimedia in video meeting applications motivates the students to attend the class, with 50% of the students agree to this statement. And point number 2 here, we can see that there are enough good interactions between the students and the teachers, with 58.7% of the students agree to this statement. And we're moving to the results of the interview. Okay, first part of the interview is focused on how the students think about the implementation of the virtual meeting. And according to interviewee 1 here, the applications are used only when needed. And then according to interviewee 2, the teacher explained about how to operate the application. There is no test conducted via the application. The duration of the meeting is well adjusted. And then the rest of the interview is focused on the perceptions, problems, challenges, and the suggestions from the students about the virtual meeting application. Okay, so according to interviewee 2, the material could be understood better when it is delivered using the virtual meeting application. And according to interviewee 3, sometimes the students failed to catch up with the information of the meeting, so they did not attend the meeting. And then for the suggestions, interviewee 4 claimed that the quality of the audio is not really clear and need to be fixed. And then in conclusion, this research found that most of the students in SMP Pangudi-Luhur Wedi Klaten have positive perceptions on the use of virtual meeting application, especially in the English learning activity. However, some of them sometimes failed to join the meeting because they missed the information of the meeting. Okay.
Okay, I think that's all.
Okay, thank you so much for Mrs. Lintang and Mrs. Trey for the amazing and entertaining presentations. Let's give applause for both of them. All right. Thank you. Now it's time for the question and answer session. I will invite only 3 questions, 1 participant, 1 question. You may use the raise hand feature on the Zoom, then type your question in the chat box. Mention your name, your affiliation, to whom the question is addressed, then the question. Okay, is it clear? Okay, you may start to write your question on the chat box now. All right, is there any question? We are going to wait until there's someone who is giving the question, maybe for the presenters. Okay. There's a question from Dandi USD to Mr. Afif. Thank you for the question, Dandi. Okay, it's time. I will give the question for Mr. Afif. You may directly answer the question right now. Thank you.
Okay, directly answer or okay, for Mr. Dandi, what is actually the role of YouTube in helping students improving their speaking skill? Because it actually is one-way interaction. Is it enough for students only to watch YouTube videos, or do they need to do any follow-up activities in order to really improve their speaking skill? So the role of YouTube, as we have been discussed about what is the impact of the YouTube for speaking skills, there are many speaking elements that can be increased learning through YouTube, such as grammar or vocabulary and pronouns fluency. But actually, it's one-way interaction. Is it enough for students only to watch YouTube videos? So the answer is you can implement that, like your upload your videos. This is actually is implemented in SMK 3 Perguruan Cikini. So they upload the videos while they are speaking, so they can what's that like evaluating their speaking, so they can see the progress how their speaking skill have improved. So yeah, that's the answer. I hope that you satisfied with my answer. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Afif, for the answer. Is it understood, Mrs. Dandi?
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Afif.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for the first question. And then we are moving on to the second question. Is there anyone who want to ask for the presenters, maybe? You can just type the question, then it will be answered directly with the presenters. All right, we're still waiting for the question. Um, if there's no question, then can I ask maybe for Mr. Afif? Can you? Okay, I will type the question. Okay, that is my questions. Maybe you can read. Nowadays, most of the teachers are using YouTube for the teaching and learning process. However, it cannot be denied that there are some students in some areas who had difficulties in accessing the YouTube. Do you have any solution for this problem, maybe for the students who are not able to access the YouTube? Thank you.
Okay, so this is actually the same thing that I have like my struggling. How if the students that they have no connection, internet connection, or they are have no gadget or something. So I have read some article that they can use the television. So in TVRI, they are what's that like class class the what's that like they are provide the what's that like a teaching class in the TVRI, so you can maybe people have no connection internet, but mostly if we compare that the if most people have a television, but if about the connection or gadget, what's that like? Uh, Mostly people have television than the gadget or device or other device. So the answer is you can learn from the television actually in TVRI. For example, in TVRI, so the TVRI there is a channel which uh, they have what's that like the class like a class for students. So students just have to choose or pick the level, the educational levels according to their needs. I think that's my answer because this is the same first that like my struggling, like my answer, my research, my yeah. Okay, see now.
All right, all right. Thank you so much, Mr. Afif, for the answer. It's clear enough. Okay, we are now moving for the third question. Maybe um, for those of you who want to ask some question for the presenters, you can directly type the question on the chat box. Okay. All right. We are still waiting for maybe the last questions before we end this session.
May I ask questions?
Yes, sure, Miss. You
I'm
have your time.
sorry. Yeah, instead of waiting for, someone to ask something, well, Mr. Afif, I was wondering actually, in what way is your study different from the previous one? I mean about the previous studies that you have reviewed.
Okay, the previous study that related to this study, uh, the characteristic of student might be the difference with the previous study because the previous studies sample is the what's that is the student of like college from college. So it's been our struggle to find the the characteristic of the sample according to according to our needs. So because of that, our close-ended questionnaire are adapted and modified depend on the research needs. But the the some of the items had been deleted because it's not related with our what's that our research. That's all.
Right, thank
Maybe
you.
it's been as a tracking because yeah. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Afif and Miss Tri for the question. And then we are moving on to the next question. We have more question here from Diska from Unida Gontor to Miss Lintang. In online class, there are some students who do not submit or attend the online class. In your opinion, what is the best solution for this issue? Thanks. Mrs. Lintang, you may have your time to answer this question. Thank you.
Okay, so the situation that is created by COVID-19 pandemic is quite new for us, and we have to adapt and adapt and adapt. But when I was observing the teacher who taught in SMP Pangudi Luhur di Klaten, sometimes the teacher are being interactive to the students. by sending them texts in the group, or if they don't respond in the group, they even text the students personally. And sometimes they also give bonus points when the students submit the work earlier than the other. They give bonus point, and it cannot be denied that for most of the students, bonus point could be a really big trigger for them to submit the assignments. And I feel like in this online learning era, it could work also to give the students bonus points when they submit the assignments. So it could be the trigger for us. Maybe Mr. wants to add something.
Thank you. Well, I'm talking about this context. When students cannot attend the online learning, then of course, as teachers, I personally experienced that many times, that some students are asking excuses for not attending the online, the virtual meeting because of some limitation, like the quota or probably the internet connection and such and such and such, in which we still need to verify that. So personally, if I'm dealing with that, okay, then I will send the recording to the students. I send the recording to the students so that they later on can watch at any time convenient to them, or at any time when it is possible for them to get access to that. Because yeah, it has not been verified, at least in our study, then why the students could not attend, the virtual meeting. But some students admitted under our study that they did not attend the virtual meeting because the teacher did not give, clear, information, about the virtual meeting with them. And which is actually, it's too bad, but then we do hope that in the next time, as people realizes that they do need to be more interactive when they are attending virtual meeting with more benefits, then I think the awareness will be increasing in the future. That's what we hope. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for Ms. Lintang and Ms. Tri for the answer. And I think we have the last question, but apparently the question is similar to the previous question. So,
Yes.
Mr. Sion, is it clear and understood from the previous explanation, or do you need something more?
Is it clear, Sarah?
Okay.
Thank you, Ms.
Okay.
Lintang and Ms.
Okay, it's
Tri.
clear enough. So I think this is the end of our parallel session. Thank you so much for the presenters who have already sharing the very inspiring presentation. And after this, we're going to have the lunch break from 11:30 until 1 p.m. Then we will continue with the parallel session 2. You may leave now from the room and go back again at 1 p.m. Thank you so much for the participation. See you.
Thank you.